Kong Skull Island 2017. The film opens in 1973 as pilot Hank Marlowe crashes onto a mysterious island during wartime chaos. He encounters a gigantic ape amid wreckage and silence before being captured by locals. Years later, scientist Bill Randa convinces the U.S. government to fund an expedition using seismic charges. He recruits tracker James Conrad and photographer Mason Weaver. A military escort led by Lieutenant Colonel Packard joins. As helicopters approach the uncharted island, storm clouds swirl, foreshadowing danger, destiny, and the awakening of something ancient. Watching them arrive with fear growing fast inside every soldier, witnessing nature reclaiming forgotten ground. Upon landing, the team detonates explosives across the jungle, triggering violent shockwaves underground. The island responds when Kong erupts from the trees, swatting helicopters like insects. Soldiers fall as fire and metal rain downward. Packard survives, consumed by rage and obsession. Conrad and Weaver witness Kong's power but also his restraint, realizing he protects the island. Survivors scatter into groups, struggling through hostile terrain. Creatures lurk everywhere. The expedition's mission collapses instantly, replaced by survival, fear, and the realization humanity has challenged a godlike guardian whose ancient reign predates wars, weapons, empires, and remembers balance above conquest for this land. Conrad leads one group through dense jungle, using instincts and silence to survive. Weaver documents wonders and horrors, challenging Conrad's mercenary detachment. They encounter peaceful islanders who revere Kong as protector against subterranean monsters called skull crawlers. Marlowe, now aged, reunites with Conrad's group, explaining decades of survival. He describes Kong as guardian keeping balance. Meanwhile, Packard gathers weapons, ignoring warnings, determined to kill Kong for fallen men. His vengeance blinds him, setting a collision course between human pride, nature's order, and an island that punishes arrogance brutally through storms, beasts, darkness, hunger, fear, obsession, and inevitable consequences for all involved. Packard's unit marches toward Kong, hauling bombs through swamps and valleys. Along the way, skull crawlers attack savagely, devouring soldiers and shredding equipment. Conrad's group barely survives encounters with spider swarms and toxic creatures. Weaver begins seeing Kong not as monster, but as force of balance. Marlowe warns that killing Kong will unleash greater horrors buried beneath the island. Despite losses, Packard presses on, driven by command mentality. The island itself seems to resist them, testing resolve, morality, and the cost of domination written into nature long before humans arrived, carrying flags, guns, arrogance, and forgetting humility within living systems everywhere. Conrad confronts Packard, urging retreat and cooperation, but orders prevail. Packard rigs explosives to kill Kong at a lakeside ambush. When Kong appears, wounded yet majestic, Weaver intervenes, distracting him to save lives. Packard attempts detonation, but Kong overpowers him, ending the vendetta. The moment underscores humanity's insignificance against ancient forces. However, the true threat emerges as skull crawlers swarm, sensing Kong weakened. The island trembles as balance falters, signaling a climactic reckoning between guardian and devouring predators. Conrad, Weaver, and survivors brace themselves, knowing escape now depends on Kong standing alone against extinction-level fury rising from beneath the cursed island. A massive skull crawler, ancient and relentless, challenges Kong in brutal combat. The battle rages through wreckage, water, and fire as humans scatter helplessly. Kong uses intelligence and strength, wielding chains and debris. Though injured, he refuses to fall. Weaver and Conrad assist indirectly, drawing the creature away. Kong ultimately slays the monster, restoring balance at great cost. Silence follows. The island exhales. Kong roars victorious, not in triumph, but warning. The survivors understand they were spared by mercy, not dominance earned through humility, respect, restraint, survival, cooperation, observation, and acceptance of forces far older than humanity could ever imagine alone. With Packard dead and helicopters destroyed, Marlowe chooses to stay behind, accepting the island as home. Conrad and Weaver prepare survivors for extraction. Kong watches silently from a distance, ensuring Skull Island remains protected. The islanders return to their lives, balance restored temporarily. The humans depart humbled, carrying stories no one will believe. The mission's original purpose feels meaningless now. What began as exploration became confrontation. The sky clears as Kong fades into mist, a god unseen, guarding a world not meant for mankind where nature rules violently, beautifully, endlessly without asking permission from fragile, ambitious visitors ever again there. Back in civilization, Conrad and Weaver are debriefed, sworn to secrecy. Government officials hide the truth, labeling the island unstable. Monarch expands quietly, studying Titans. Photos remain unseen, evidence locked away. The world continues unaware of ancient beings. Yet the survivors are changed forever, haunted by roars and shadows. They know Skull Island still exists, alive and watching. Kong stands as reminder that humanity is small. Power does not equal ownership. Survival sometimes depends on knowing when not to fight and respecting guardians who enforce balance beyond human laws written into the bones of creation itself since time immemorial began. Post-credits revelations connect Kong to a larger world. Monarch scientists reveal cave paintings depicting other titans. Gods of earth, sky, and sea awaken. Kong is not alone. The island is merely one battlefield in a greater myth. The discovery reframes everything witnessed. Humanity stands at the edge of an age of monsters. Skull Island was a warning shot. Balance can be disrupted globally. Kong's role becomes clearer, a sentinel among many. The world will soon face forces beyond comprehension, demanding coexistence or annihilation as ancient powers rise, challenge fear and rewrite humanity's place in an indifferent universe without mercy. Kong Skull Island concludes as a modern myth about respect, balance, and survival. The script blends war trauma with wonder, framing Kong not villain but protector. Human aggression contrasts natural order. Every explosion echoes arrogance. Every roar answers with consequence. Characters evolve through loss and humility. The island remains unconquered. Kong endures. The film reminds audiences that dominance invites destruction. Coexistence requires restraint. In the shadow of giants, humanity must choose wisdom over force. The story stands as foundation for a monster-filled universe shaped by ancient rules that existed long before humans learned fear and will remain after their extinction.